Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. And today, the first round in the NBA draft is officially complete. At the time of this recording, it's like midnight when I'm recording this right now. I'm currently running off like 3.5 hours of sleep, so if I look super tired and my eyes are bloodshot, there's a reason why. But today, man, I just want to give a quick shout out to the Phoenix Suns because they really did their work, and a lot of us didn't have faith in Brian Gregory, and this front office kind of showed, not kind of, but it showed a lot of incompetence the past couple seasons trying to build a team around Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. And I'm not saying that we have a crazy roster or we made like game-breaking, changing moves, but we made moves that made sense and are gonna put us in the right direction. But yeah, first things first, I'm gonna start off with the rookie, the 10th overall pick in this NBA draft this year, Khaman, Maluach, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. A lot of people will get that right soon, because this kid's he's gonna be a stud, man. He's gonna be elite. I wasn't honestly sure he was gonna be there at 10, and it sounds like Brian Gregory was taking some media questions just a little bit ago. They didn't think he was gonna be there at 10 either. Everyone that I was talking to, we didn't think he was gonna be there at 10, but he was there, and he was the best. He was the best choice. He's such a raw prospect, a 7'2" kid, has a 7'6" wingspan. He's 18 years of age, turns 19 in September or October, something like that. You can't pass up on a kid like that, especially when you're the Phoenix Suns and you need a center. Like, we had Oso Ighodaro and Nick Richards, and we'll talk more about those two later on, but it was just, I think it was such an easy choice for the Suns. I know Carter Bryant was liked by a lot of people on the Suns fan base, but I think that was mainly because we didn't think, we didn't think Khaman was gonna be there at the 10th overall pick. But there was a lot of shocking picks tonight. Yang, I think Hassan Yang, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, went 16th overall to the Portland Trailblazers. He was projected to be like a second round pick. Igor Dimin jumped to the 8th pick by the Brooklyn Nets. He was projected to be like a late lottery back into the first round. It was a good draft, and I'm excited in these kids. And I talked a lot about Khaman in my last YouTube video. He was the number one prospect on my draft board. We went ahead and got him, and he's gonna be a big help.
Yeah, give me Khaman Maluach. Yeah, boy.
Maluach?
Yes.
Come on.
Give me that,
There
bro.
it is, yep.
Yeah, it
Great
is.
pick.
Fucking center of
Good
the
job,
future.
Les Suns ont le joueur qu'ils voulaient.
Great pick.
Claude Soudan, le copain de Bol Bol.
Shout out Carter Bryant,
Content,
but fuck yes, thank you.
There's another move that the Suns made tonight, which I'm gonna get into later on here, but the Suns just did such a good job. They really did. They drafted a kid that's quick on his feet, is good at switching, plays good in drop coverage. The shooting, the 3-point arc, he has the mechanics there, but it's still a little bit touchy there, which is okay. I think he shot like 16 3-point attempts this past season at Duke. He made 4 of them, so I think that's like 25% or whatever. But he's a great defender, quick on his feet, and it's someone that Jordan Knott really wants. So if you guys are a little confused by what I mean by that, Jordan Knott but he coached with the Cleveland Cavaliers this past season. They had 2 bigs with Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. And I think that's something the Suns are trying to replicate. They're trying to replicate a lot of what the Cavs are doing. Same with the Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell deal. They're trying to do that with Devin Booker and Jalen Green, I believe. But all that aside, that was kind of the main thing for the Suns, is to go get a big, and they did that. And I think Khaman's going to be great. It's probably going to take them 2 to 3 years to probably be established, and and that's fine. Do the Suns reroute him? I don't think so. A lot of people have been mentioning that, just because of the timeline and whatever. The Suns are trying to still compete or whatever. They're trying to retool. We're in a very awkward stage of what we're trying to do, but yeah, I like the kid a lot, and I think he's going to do great things here in Phoenix. And he seems very, very happy to put his country in the back. I believe he is from South Sudan, if I'm correct. So yeah, this kid's gonna be great. But yeah, especially like after the 10th pick, the Suns front office decided to do something that I think nobody was really expecting, or at least a move. Literally seconds after that pick was announced that we drafted Khaman, we literally traded for Mark Williams.
Hopefully they can nail 29.
We got to trade Mark Williams to Phoenix for the 29th pick.
You saw that?
Yes, right now, Shams.
Wow.
Trading what? Say it again.
The 29th pick for Mark Williams. And another first.
Oh shit!
Wow.
Oh,
So we got
two centers.
Look at the Suns beefing up the center position.
We did give up 2 first-round picks. We gave up the 29th pick, which we had in this year's draft. And then we give up a 2029 first-round pick, which I think is the least favored from the Cavaliers or whatever, between like the Cavs, Timberwolves, and Jazz, whatever the mix-up is there. But yeah, Mark Williams, that's a good pick there. He's probably the cheapest starting center in the NBA right now. He has a 1-year contract worth $4.9 million. I think he's still on his rookie deal. But there is kind of some red flags about him, and that's mainly just the injury-prone deal. He hasn't played more than 44 games in his whole entire NBA career. But there's a lot of upside to him. He's still 23 years old, very young. You know, he's an athlete, man. He averaged 15 points per game, 10 rebounds, 2.5 assists. Like, granted, he was playing the Charlotte Hornets, and he had a great playmaker on the middle of the ball, and the Suns still need to address that point guard situation, but this kid, I like Mark Williams a lot. And a lot of people are making the comment that why did the Suns go trade for a younger center when you have Khaman? You know, why'd you draft Khaman if you're going to go trade for Mark Williams, who was 23 years of age? Well, this isn't force Khaman to be the number one option for center on your team when you have high expectations of trying to compete or whatever the fuck you're trying to do. You know, it gives him, there's not so much pressure applied to him, and he will probably get a lot of burn because Mark Williams, like I said, is injury prone. So Khaman will probably get his touches, and he'll be playing alongside a great playmaker in Devin Booker. Now, granted, will the Suns go out and get a point guard? Probably. There's a lot of names: Russell Westbrook, Chris Paul. Lonzo Ball is a guy that I like, that I think they should go get. I've heard Colin Sexton. There's a lot of different names. I just watched like a slew of like Mark Williams game film. There's kind of some keynotes I took. He's quick. He's quick on his feet. He runs the floor. He runs the court very well. He has great footwork down at the low post. He's great off pick and rolls. Yeah, and if you're expecting 3-point shooting from Mark Williams, it's not going to happen because he doesn't even shoot threes. But yeah, man, I'm excited. We got 2 athletic centers, and we finally kind of took care of our problem. You know, we went away from Mason Plumlee, Drew Eubanks, Yusuf Nurkic, just a bunch of unathletic nonsense centers, and we finally got someone at Mark Williams, who was supposed to be an LA Laker at the deadline, but due to not passing his physical, he went back to the Charlotte Hornets. And there's a lot of opportunity in coming to Phoenix as well. You know, he's coming to, you know, he hasn't really had a chance to compete and play like meaningful basketball, I guess. Not like the Suns have really been doing anything great in the past couple of seasons, but he's a chance to, you know, the NBA is so wide open, so I don't want to say like compete for a championship, but he has the chance to make a real contribution to a team that's trying to do something. And that does mean something. That just change your mindset. When you're in the locker room, you know, in Charlotte, they're a very unserious team. You got LaMelo Ball, and you have a bunch of younger dudes in there as well, Brandon Miller, etc. You're coming into a locker room that's going to have vets like Devin Booker. You're going to have probably some other veteran guys that they're going to get. But that will change your mindset and landscape a lot, because you're going to be on the road with those guys pretty much a whole season, 82 games, traveling all over the United States. You're basically going on the world tour, or a tour against the country, across the country or whatever. You're gonna change your mindset a lot just being around those people, and I think that'll be beneficial a lot for Mark Williams, and hopefully he can stay healthy, man, because he's going to be a huge contribution, and I think he's going to mesh well with Devin Booker in this team. But there's still a lot to be done, you know, with the Suns team. Like I said, this is a good step in the right direction, but in terms of what next season looks like, there's still a lot to be done. You still got to make a move for Bradley Beal. They're working on that 24/7 around the clock, trying to see who will be a taker for Bradley Beal, and will Bradley Beal want to go there. I expect Grayson Allen and Royce O'Neal to be out this roster. Cody Martin probably. And then the center rotation is going to be interesting, because you just drafted Oso Iguodala last year. And then you have Nick Richards, who you have the player option with if you want to bring him back. I do think they bring back Oso. I don't think they trade Oso yet. I'm not saying like Oso's like untouchable, because if the situation is right, where if you got to like attach him to Bradley Beal on a trade, you got to go ahead and do it. Oso is not going to be a starting center in this league. I love Oso Iguodala to death. Love him. Great kid. I don't know. I'm saying kid. He's older than me. It's just just for Phoenix, it's such an awkward deal with the center because we have 4 centers now, and then Nick Richards. You kind of have to pick and choose because you could have three 7-footers, or you could have 2-footers, and then also I guess you could play the 4. But offensively in the NBA, he doesn't really have a jump shot. He's more of a post player, and that's just not going to be. It's not going to work out. I'm not saying that they should just give up on him and trade him, but if it's between Nick Richards and Oso Ighodaro, I think I might get rid of Oso. If the opportunity is right, either way you can pick either one. I'll be happy regardless. But and then Bol is a guy that I really want to bring back, and he's close with Devin Booker. I know that he can do a lot of great things in this Phoenix Suns team next season with Jordan under him, and I think he's gonna do a lot of great things. So yeah, I feel like I just kind of rambled there towards the end, but I'm running on like 3.5 hours of sleep. But I just wanted to get this video out because I'm trying to stay consistent on YouTube, man. And this is just too exciting to not talk about because the Suns literally just shocked the whole Suns fan base. Like, yeah, man, it's great. It's a great time. I'm excited. We're gonna see what day 2 brings. I do expect Bradley Beal to be moved by the 30th of June because that's when the free agency period starts, and hopefully the Suns do get under the first apron or under the second apron and get into the first apron. But thank you guys for watching. Make sure to drop a like, comment down below what you grade this Phoenix Suns draft so far and your thoughts. I know tomorrow, or I guess today when you guys are watching this video, they do have like the 52nd and 59th pick in the second round. So that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.